News Channel 3 taking action against crime. Norfolk police asking for our help to solve a triple murder. It happened more than 3 years ago, but the pain is still fresh for the victims' families. Juliet Bickford takes us inside the investigation.
Finding the person that does this is not going to bring Malcolm back, but right is right and wrong is wrong. You know, someone's got to pay.
6 family members clinging to each other and the memories. They're the ones left behind after a brutal murder took 3 of their loved ones. The young men were gunned down in August 2007. Now News Channel 3 took action to bring them together for the first time.
I just, appreciate the phone call, just to get us together and try to find some closure, because it hurts every day, knowing that my son is gone, and why would somebody want to kill him?
Those unanswered questions have been eating away at these parents since Malcolm Bradley, McQuan Scott, and Latron Griffin were found shot to death in this apartment parking lot in Norfolk.
That's my only boy. That's the only grandchild I got. And he grew up with me.
It's been a devastating loss for Malcolm's grandma. McQuan's uncle can't believe the killer is still out there.
I don't know how a person could walk around every day after doing such a heinous crime.
That's why Norfolk police are working tirelessly to solve this case. They asked News Channel 3 to help, taking us inside the investigation.
You'll see a black car and then the red car next to it. The red car next to it was actually where Latron and Malcolm were found.
On August 29th, 2007, they were parked in front of Latron's place at River Oaks Apartments on Princess Anne Road. They'd been to a Tides game earlier that night. Latron's mom was in the apartment and actually heard gunshots sometime after 11 p.m.
I was on the phone talking to my girlfriend, and we heard these, I thought they was firecrackers.
Then the shock of her life when she looked out the window. She saw her son's car and heard he and Malcolm were hurt.
It was heartbreaking then because I knew they had to be dead.
Sergeant Wayne Handley is investigating this case. He says 18-year-old Malcolm and 22-year-old Latron were already dead in the car when Norfolk police arrived on the scene.
McQuan was actually found over here.
Police say the 23-year-old was shot to death while trying to run away.
That takes the phrase predator and absolutely raises it to a new level, to where this is somebody that just has to be found.
These are just some of the Norfolk Police Department files for this massive investigation.
We are working in a very good direction to bring closure to this case.
Investigators need to hear more from the people who were in this area the night of the murders. If you saw or heard anything unusual, or maybe somebody who didn't belong in this apartment complex on that evening, they need a tip. You can call the crime line with that information. Also, they need to hear more from witnesses.
And sometimes all we need is one call, and people will say, well, I'll wait for somebody else to call, or I know so-and-so is going to call and they can do it and I don't want to get involved. But, the way things are today, we can't be like that. We're all responsible for taking care of each other.
So how did these young men described as jokesters end up murdered? Police think they know the motive. At this point, they can't tell us because it might compromise the investigation. News Channel 3 did some digging and found one of the victims, McQuan, did have prior drug charges. However, police are not focusing on that as a motive. Their families are hoping our story will solve the mystery.
Truly, in a situation like this, there's never really any closure. There never really is. There will always be pain from this situation. It's a no-win. But what we could have is justice.
You can help get justice in this case. If you have any information about any of the victims the night of the shooting, or who might be responsible, call the crime line at 1-888-LOCK-YOU-UP. You can remain completely anonymous, and you could get a reward up to $1,000. Taking action against crime, Juliet Bickford, News Channel 3.
Welcome to News Channel 3's special report investigation. Well, today, 3 families were filled with gratitude as a triple murderer learned his possible sentence.
News Channel 3 has been investigating this case since it was an unsolved murder, and now the families say justice was finally served. Investigator Juliet Bickford has more.
I I was at the sentencing hearing today for convicted killer Aaron Perry. The jury recommended 3 life sentences plus 13 years. This concludes more than 6 years of waiting for justice for the families of his victims. And they're thanking News Channel 3 and our viewers for getting results in this case.
I just thank God that we came to this day, thanks to Juliet Bickford.
Alice Griffin has been waiting for this day since August 29, 2007. That's when her son Latron and his 2 friends were gunned down in an apartment parking lot in Norfolk. After a trial that lasted more than a week and involved dozens of witnesses, Aaron Perry was found guilty of capital murder, 2 counts of first-degree murder, and firearms charges.
We're very thankful for Channel 3 and for all the viewers who helped us, and we're just very grateful.
We first introduced you to 3 grieving families in February 2011 when we featured the triple murder as an unsolved case. Alice and the families of Malcolm Bradley and McQuan Scott poured out their hearts to News Channel 3 asking for someone to help solve this case.
I don't know how a person could walk around every day after doing such a heinous crime.
After our story, investigators say they got some promising leads. And last March, finally an arrest, a name and a face for the cold-blooded killer, Aaron Perry. We caught up with Latron's mom shortly after she got news of the arrest.
I'm just happy. I thank y'all for doing the interview.
Today, Malcolm's dad thanked all the people who came forward after our story. Do you think taking action against crime got results in this case?
Yes, we do. We just think that due to the fact that you put our story out over the airs and so many people saw it, so many people in this case came forward that we've never met before. We've never seen them a day in our lives.
McQuan's uncle also says our story turned this cold case around.
It didn't really escalate until it was aired on TV, and we thank you for that. We thank you for that. It made a big difference, and it was what, a year or 2 ago, and now we're here in a trial.
Giving these families a sense of closure and peace, they say, began the day News Channel 3 brought them together for the first time.
Being together with the families and you set up that first group session was sort of the beginning of our healing, and again, we thank you for that.
All of the families told me they were looking for in this trial was answers. Why did Perry kill their sons? Apparently, it was over a disagreement. Perry's formal sentencing is scheduled for May 3rd. Taking action against crime, Juliet Bickford, News Channel 3.